Shalom, my name is Morey Natan Ben Yisrael, and I would like to share with you in this broadcast tonight a topic, hear the voice of Yahweh. I think that is important at this time for people to listen attentive to what the Creator has to say. I think that it could save lives. In fact, I know that it can save lives because the Creator has the power over the issues of death. And so I want to share with you a few things tonight that He has shared with me to give to my viewing audience in hopes that they will hear, listen, and understand. You know, today we see a lot of people dying from COVID-19. And what I would like to show you is that Yahweh used this as a form of punishment upon the wicked. We have read in the book of Proverbs what comes before destruction. And when we look here in the book of Proverbs, in Proverbs 18, and we look here at the 12th verse, here at the 12th verse it says, "Before destruction the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility." Before destruction. And so if it says before destruction, that means that there are signs, there are things that we can be conscious of that would allow us. It's kind of like having a cold. You know, you have symptoms that let you know that you're catching a cold. And so here it's letting you know that when your mind is haughty, this is a sign that you're heading in the wrong direction. And the world itself has become haughty. All of the powers, the world powers, you know, are high-minded. We can see through the presidency today, you know, our president, he's a man that's self-serving. He's a narcissist, you know. He don't want to take anyone's advice. He think that he know everything about everything that there is to know, or he need to know. And so his rulership is very, very wicked and self-serving. And so these are signs. When we see the pride, and he won't admit where he's wrong, he won't listen to his advisors and all these things. And then not only that, but the world itself. We see that people they don't want to wear the mask. I know I don't have on a mask, but you know I do have them, and I do wear them. But for this video, I'm not. But you know, they don't want to, you know, obey the order of social distancing. We see more and more social gatherings, people not distancing themselves, and they're not listening. They're not trying to save life, because for so long they have been taught to not appreciate life, and they're hard-headed and stiff-necked and proud, and they don't want anyone to tell them that they're wrong or that they need to change or reform their ways. And so we look at Proverbs 17 and the 19th verse. Here it says, "He loveth transgression that loveth strife." That's another sign. Transgression. Transgression is the breaking of the law. We see also that the president, he have done a lot of things. He's been impeached. You know, a lot of his servants, people around him, they, you know, seem to be criminals, wicked people that, you know, cater to his every need. And we can see him using his power to reward their loyalty for sticking with him, doing the things that he's been doing. So, you know, we can see this. And it says, "He loveth transgression that loveth strife." Now strife, on the other hand, we can see that he's also the type of man that incite violence and hatred, you know, division, you know, strife. He just thrives on it, you know, tweeting and doing this and that, you know, and causing problems, causing people to be at each other's throats. And so, you know, it's true. And he that exalted his gates seeketh destruction. So there's another indicator. Exaltation. You know, when you think that you know more than everybody, you think that you're better than everybody, and you know, this is another indicator that the Creator is showing us through the book of Proverbs, that you know, it gives us understanding that we're on the wrong path. We're headed in the wrong direction. You know, as a people, as Israelites, we cannot follow these people and what they're trying to do and how they're trying to live, because these people are headed to destruction. And so these are signs that the wicked ignore because they really don't believe in the Creator. See, so I know they're not going to listen. I know they're not going to hear what I'm saying today. They're going to ignore this. But you know, because you don't believe in the Creator doesn't mean that He's not real and that He's not, you know, actively involved in what's going on down here. In the book of Psalms, we find evidence of this. It says, "Why standest thou afar off, O Yahweh? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble?" And these are truly times of trouble. And people want God to save their loved ones. People want God to save them. You know, you hear a lot of cries going up. Well, a lot of this is happening because of what we read earlier. People pride, don't want to listen, don't want to turn, and then when it's too late, when they're personally experiencing this, because it didn't directly affect them at first, they really wasn't listening. But now they're having their own personal experience. Now they're angry, and they don't know where to turn. You know, to point, you know, their anger, what direction to turn and to, you know, express their anger. It says, "The wicked in his pride," see, we're right back to that word, pride, "doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined." And so in their pride, they continue to persecute us. You know, we know that our people are leading, you know, in sickness in this COVID. We also know that they are not allowing us to have as many test sites as we need to test our people, to make sure that they're, you know, negative, to make sure that they don't have the COVID. And then we can see from the reaction, the first reaction, all of the Europeans was in the hospitals. You know, they were receiving the best health care and all these things. But now that some of them have been alleviated from their sufferings and things, you know, and they're doing better, they're turning us away. They're not trying to give us the same attention that they gave them. We could see the injustice even in that. You know, they open up all kind of places, testing grounds for their people. But yet we had to beg for testing grounds for our people. And so we know that the wicked would not be fair when it comes down to the poor. And we're not just talking about poor economically, but we're talking about poor when it comes down to having a voice, you know, a friend, having someone on our side. We lack in these things. And so it says, "For the wicked boasted of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous, whom Yahweh abhorred." And so we can see from that verse that the wicked, first of all, boast means to brag of his heart's desire. He brag about the things that he want and what he have and what he's doing. And not only that, he blessed the covetous. He blessed those that are like him. You know, that's why you look at the aristocrats of this society. You know, they make sure that they keep each other in that position, and they work to, you know, to help themselves. When this COVID took place, you know, all you have to do is look at what happened. What happened? They went to the stores, they bought up all of the toilet paper, they bought up all of the food, they bought all of the deep freezers. You know, they didn't even think, you know, to say, you know, other people have to eat. Other people need, you know, to be sanitized. Other people need things too. No. They went and bought these things up, not that they needed them, but to resell them, you know, to jack up the prices on them, to make more money. It wasn't about a necessity, it was about greed. And they was able to do it because no one else could afford to do it. And so we've seen a lot of the stores depleted of the necessary things that we needed for life. And then you can go on places like Amazon and different places on the internet, and you can see where they were selling these things back until someone important, I guess, cried out, and then some of these other places like Amazon and those different places, they opt out because they didn't want to be a part of it because of the embarrassment of it. But they would have been a part of it if had no one said anything, you know. And we can see the selfishness and the wickedness of man, and you know, this pandemic is bringing out a lot of characterization of the wicked, and we can really see behind the smiles and things how people really are. And it says his ways are always, the wicked through the pride, it goes back to that word pride, of his countenance will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. So the Creator is not in his mind. When he analyzed things, break down things, and tried to find solution for the problems that he's confronted with today, he's not going to think and say, you know, never come to the conclusion to say, you know, this is happening to us because we have passed laws such as same-sex marriage. We have passed laws for bestiality. We have passed laws, against the parents, you know, restraining the parents from being able to correct their children. You know, we have passed wicked laws, and because of this, the Creator is lashing out on, against us. They're not going to say that because, one, the Creator is not in their thoughts. When you go to school, they teach you about the Bang Theory. They don't teach you about the Creator. That's their, idea of creation. They teach you about evolution, you know. All of these things. Man evolved from an ape. Well, if man evolved from the ape, well, I mean, where did the ape come from? Where did all the rest of the animals, you know, all the other species? If we evolved, why didn't they evolve? So it don't make sense, you know. But this is what they teach you in school. But then when you see in all of their civil servants, you see the police cars, you see the coins, you see the dollars, everything in God we trust. But they don't trust in God. What they're talking about, the God that they're trusting in, is wealth. You understand? And so we need to look at this and realize that just like Sodom and Gomorrah came to their end, it was because they would not repent, they would not change their course before the Creator. And ultimately, the Creator destroyed them. Now, let's look at Psalms 14 and verse number 1. I think it's a little bit more clear there. It says here, the fool had said in his heart, there is no God. There is no God. Now it said the fool. The fool is someone who keep trying to do things the same way and expecting different results. You know, history have proven to us and shown to us that when you live wicked, you're on a path of destruction. But yet, all these wicked nations set themselves up just like all the others, you see, expecting something different to happen, that their world will not end. That's a fool, you know. And so he says they are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Yahweh looketh down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. And so we can see that corruption has overspread it, you know, throughout this whole earth and have consumed just about everybody. I don't care where you look. You can go and watch CNN, MSBN, you can watch BBC, you can watch any, you know, world news that you want to watch. And when you watch it, you're going to see there's problems all over this earth. People are involved in all kind of wicked things, and they're not trying to change that. And so, since man think this way and he can't come to the realization of God, and then Will he believe in the consequences of his act? Has this resulted in the pandemic? See, will he accept that? Would he believe that because of what he have been doing upon this earth, the Creator has sent a pandemic to punish him or to correct him, or the sword that is going through his land? Is this a part of the punishment? And so will he believe that? I think not. And I know that if you're truthful, you would say the same thing. They don't believe that God is punishing them. People believe and have been taught that it's the devil. The devil do all the bad things. God is just love. But we're going to look at a few things. And we look at Proverbs, we're going to entertain this thought. Proverbs chapter 3, verse number 33. Here in Proverbs 3 and 33, let me get there. It says, the curse of Yahweh is in the house of the wicked. The curse. See, that's trouble. That's problems. When we look in America, America is a house. China is a house. Japan is a house. Australia is a house. England is a house. When we look at these places, all we see is trouble. Trouble brewing up like a whirlwind. You look out there, you see dark clouds and you see hail, golf ball size hails falling from the heavens. You see flashes of lightning, and you hear thunder. Your mind go to wondering, is a storm, coming, or is a tornado coming? Those are indicators of a tornado, a twister. We hear all this talk about, everybody mad with China. China, brought the pandemic. China is at fault for this. And so it's just like Adam and Eve. Adam didn't want to take responsibility for what he did, his part in the failure. And Eve, she didn't want to take responsibility for her part in the failure. And that's what we see today. People that they don't want to take their accountability. They don't want to be accountable for what's going on. They don't want to say that, I'm at fault. This is a result of how I've been living. But then here, verse 33 and 33 says, the curse of Yahweh is in the house of the wicked. But then the opposite, it says, but he blessed the habitation of the just. And so we can tell just by these scriptures what's going on. Somebody is wicked, and we can see the result of that. Wickedness is common in this society. What's uncommon is righteousness. You rarely see a righteous man or a righteous woman. When you run into that type of person, it's like Moses seeing the burning bush. You got to stop and take a look. I ain't never seen nobody like that. They behave like that. I mean, where did they come from? Often people ask me and my children, are we from, where did we come from? Are we from the East? Where are we? And they surprised to find out that we live in the same neighborhood they live in. Same town that they live in. But they're not used to seeing people behave like us. And the difference is seen in our homes. We have peace and harmony in our homes. I have peace and harmony in my marriage with my children. You understand? And that don't mean we don't have problems. Y'all don't. He's an honest God. He never lied to us. He never told us we weren't going to have problems. Daniel had problems. Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego had problems. Moses had a whole lot of problems with us trying to, bring us into the promised land. Yahshua had problems. Elijah, Elisha, I can just go on. The list goes on and on and on. But he said he would deliver us from these problems. And he will bring peace and stability back to your lives. And believe me, brothers and sisters, I have experienced that. still experiencing that today. When we look at this verse and we see that there are two types of people in this earth: those that are being cursed by the Creator, those that are being blessed by the Creator. And so what can we say is some of the curses that he put upon the wicked? When we look at Leviticus chapter 26, let's look at some of those curses. We look here in Leviticus chapter 26. And this is important because, like I said earlier, we've been lied to so many times about the Creator and what he would do and what he will not do. When we look at Leviticus 26, and we look here at the 25th verse: "And I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant." So here, this is the penalties for disobeying the Creator. You can start at verse 14 and read on down. It says, "But if you would not hearken unto me, and would not do all these commandments, and if you would despise my statutes, or your soul abhor my judgments, so that you would not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I will also do this unto you." So the Creator, this is one of the things he said he would do. "And I will bring a sword." Sword meaning violence. "I will bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant." See, when you go to war with the Creator, because when you disobey the Creator, just like a child disobey a parent, they at odds with that parent. And next thing you know, that parent get angry. They verbally lash out to the child. You better stop doing what you're doing before I whip you. And if the child don't, the child continue to oppose their authority. Next thing you know, the belt come out. Now, if we as human beings will do that to our children, then what do you think the Creator, who created all of us, would do if we continue to rebel against him and, fight against him? He says here, "And when ye are gathered together within your cities." See, when you have all your little parties and your feasts and all these here type of things, "I will send a pestilence among you." Now, that word pestilence, that's if it's just in one city, we call it an epidemic. But when it's global, we call it a pandemic. But it's still a pestilence. It's still some kind of sickness, some kind of disease, something that the Creator have sent to you. And here he says, "And when ye are gathered together within your cities, I will send a pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy." Now, when we look here in Deuteronomy chapter 28, we're going to go there in Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to look at the 20 through the 21st verse. Now, I'm going to read the 15th verse just so you'll understand we're still talking about the curses. "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy ruler, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." Now he give a whole list from verse 16 all the way over to verse 68. But we're just going to read a few of them. Verse 20 says, "And Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke." Well, that's trouble right there. That's trouble right there. Vexation. That's trouble right there. And you can see everybody's vexed. Ain't nobody happy out there. They troubled in their minds because they don't know what's going to happen from one minute to the next. Now when you get a phone call, the first thing you do is look at that phone and you wonder, what is finna be said on the other end? Have somebody died from this disease? On my way up here, I passed by a funeral. I've seen so many hearses on the highway. It's just unbelievable. And so and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do. And so what he's saying is, now you won't be able to prosper. They want to open the country back up. Did they prosper behind it? No. They tried to figure out a way to open this country back up. But Yah rebuked that. He did not allow it to happen. Then it says, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. The world, man, has forsaken the Creator. This country here, we talk about how great this country was. This country was founded on Christianity, Christian principles. You didn't want to talk about them no more. You don't hear anything about that. Anytime you force the Christian people hand to accept homosexuality, what's that telling you about your Christian principles? You can throw them out the door. This country killed more babies and abortion and all this kind of stuff. It's a murderous country. And so you have to look at the reason behind the Creator's actions, because we keep rejecting Him. Forsaken means quit. We don't want to do it that way no more. So we're in trouble, and we need to realize that. Look at verse 21. It says, Yahweh shall make the pestilence. There it is again. There it is again. The pandemic just keeps showing up. But where is it showing up? In curses. Because, you see, we go back up here, you understand, and we look at this, and we answer the question again. Will he believe in the consequences of his act has resulted in this pandemic, or the sword that is going through the land, his land, you see, is a part of his punishment? I think not. We refuse to hear the Creator, to hear His voice. He's telling the world that you need to change directions. You need to repent. You need to give up your wickedness before it's everlasting too late. But the world not trying to hear that. God ain't, they don't want to hear nothing about God. He's the last resort. I want to hear something from the scientists, from the Surgeon General. I want to hear something from, from the pundits of medicine. This is who I'm looking to. I'm looking to man. But here it says Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto you. That means it's not going away. You think about how many viruses you ran into last year alone. Your children coming home with diarrhea, sick, symptoms, you understand? So virus has been here. It's just getting worse. That's all. Look what he says. Until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. So you see, there's a time. The Creator says he would do this until he have consumed you from off the land. Well, now you may say that, hey, that's only for Israel, because those laws, that's for Israel. He talking to Israel. He only talking to the Israelite people. You might want to say that, But when we look at Exodus chapter 9, let's see what happened in Egypt. Did Yah use these particular type of vices when he dealt with the Egyptian? When we look here at the 9 and we look at the 13th through 15th verse, here it says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh and say unto him, thus say Yahweh, ruler of the Hebrews, let my people go that they may serve me. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. Now, he's not talking about Israel, is he? He's talking about the Egyptians. He's going to send his plagues upon Pharaoh, his servants, and all his people. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence. There it is again. Pestilence. And thou shalt be cut off from the earth. Now, let's look at Jeremiah in the 28th verse, chapter, and the 8th verse. Here in Jeremiah, it says, I'm going to read the 7th verse, start at the 7th. Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears, and in the ears of all the people. Jeremiah said you need to listen. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen as I address this audience. Listen, the prophets that have been before me and before you of old prophesied both against many countries, not Israelites, many countries. China is a country. Africa is a country. America is a country. Australia is a country. South America is a country. See, many countries. And if he said many countries, then he's talking about many people, many different people. A variety of nations. Look what he says. And against great kingdoms of war. There go that sword. And of evil, trouble. There go that vegetation of spirit. And of pestilence. Y'all have caused many nations to suffer behind a pandemic. This is not the first time. He have a history of doing these things to mankind as a corrector, to correct you. He said he have no pleasure, none whatsoever. Let me turn to Ezekiel and let me go to the 18th chapter and let me read to you the latter verses, 29 through 32. Yet said the house of Israel, the way of Yahweh is not equal. O house of Israel, are not your ways equal? Are not my ways equal? Are not your ways unequal? Therefore I will judge you, O house of Israel, every one according to his ways, said Yahweh. Repent. See? That's the first rule of war to the Creator. When you go back and read in Deuteronomy his laws concerning war, the first rule is to send a delegation to your adversary and to see if you can come to terms of surrender or peace. Can you reason with them? And that means your first act is to preserve life. And so the Creator says, repent and turn yourselves from all your transgressions, so iniquity should not be your ruin. And what he's telling you, there's an opportunity for you to save your life if you want it. It's a choice. Then he said, cast away from you all your transgressions, whereby ye have transgressed, and make you a new heart and a new spirit. For why will you die, O house of Israel? Or, in this case, mankind. Why would you die? For I have no pleasure in the death of him that died. This is not pleasing to the Creator. It may be to you, but it's not to the Creator. This is not what he wants. He didn't create you to kill you. You're doing this to yourself. But then he goes back to present to you an opportunity. It says, for I have no pleasure in the death of him that died, said Yahweh. Wherefore turn yourselves and live. I'm giving you an opportunity. The last thing the Creator want to do is kill you. The first thing He want to do is save you. But when you tie His hands up, you don't give Him no choice. It's just like when you send your ambassador to your opponent, to your adversary, and they slay your ambassador and send his head back. What is they telling you? It's time for war. It's time for talking. It's over. And so you have no other choice but to step to the battlefield. The Creator have no other choice, because we will not change, but to step to the battlefield and engage in war. Now, so you see, we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 30. Here in Deuteronomy chapter 30, Shema Yisrael. And I'm simply saying, hear my people. Hear. If the heathen don't want to listen, don't be a fool and follow him. Quit looking to man. Listen to what I'm about to read. Listen to what it says. Say, and it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether Yahweh thy ruler had driven thee. Call them to mind means to remember. When we begin to read for ourselves and we were better educated, our vocabulary, the quality of our minds improved, our understanding improved, and a lot of us began to read the book, and when we read these curses, we realized something. Hey, this is talking about me. I'm the only one in the world that fit this description. And so when we came to that conclusion and understood who we were, we also understood that then there was a time that our history, this is our history. And in our history is written, you understand, that we had kings and queens. It also said there was a time when we waxed fat, when we was glorious. But then it also testified to our wrong and what happened to us. And here we can look back and we can see from our past that we was blessed. And today we can look at our future. When we read our history about us coming to America, we know we were cursed by the Creator. And so this is what we have to accept. And then he says, once we come to this mind, which I set before you, and thou shalt call them, you understand, to mind among the nations, whether Yahweh thy ruler had driven thee, and shall return unto Yahweh thy ruler. See, Israel, for us to return, not to these other gods, not to the world, but for us to turn back to Him. It says, and shall obey His voice according to all that I command thee this day. See, now that's the lifting of the curses right there. Because the curses came from disobedience. It is our obedience to the Creator that is causing the curses to lift up off of our people. Those of us that will listen, most of us won't, and we still being cursed by the Creator. He says, you, thou, and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul. See, all of thy heart and all thy soul means all of your mind and all of your body. That means your total existence must be committed to the Creator. Now, what would happen then? He said that then Yahweh thy ruler will turn thy captivity. That's the first thing. And have compassion upon you. That's the second thing. Thee from all the nations, whether Yahweh thy ruler hath scattered thee. See, A process. A process. You have to go through a process of redemption. You got to first win his love again. Then when you do that, when you become obedient to him, then he said that he will begin to turn your captivity. And our captivity has begun to turn. We're doing things we weren't able to do in chattel slavery, like marry, raise our children, you understand? Be in a position of authority in our homes. See, things is changing for us. Look what it says. If any of thine be driven out to the uttermost parts of the heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy ruler gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh thy ruler will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy ruler with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. So you see, you return and become cooperative with the Creator, and he become cooperative with you. It becomes a mutual thing. You support him, he supports you. Everybody blessed, everybody happy, because harmony has returned. But then what happens to your oppressor, the one that brought you over on a slave ship? And Yahweh thy ruler will put all these curses upon thine enemies. And on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. That is what happened to them. They began to experience the curses while you experience the blessings. You see. And so when we go to Exodus chapter 15, and we read the 26th verse. Here it says, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of Yahweh. See, hear the voice of Yahweh. And will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all the statutes. I will put none of the diseases upon you. What is Yahweh saying? That he have the ability to smite you with diseases. We leading in STD. Look at the CDC report. We leading in STD because we are immoral. And these things has been placed upon us because of our wickedness, because of our whoredom. We have AIDS because you're homosexual. Man trying to combat that with his wonder drug, but it's not working. Look at the last decade. You see a rise in hepatitis, all kind of skin diseases. Anytime you see them making commercials about these things and talking about this pill, this and that can help you, it's a problem. Psoriasis, more and more people are suffering. Now we have something, I believe, that is new. I forgot. I think it's not the chicken pox, but it's that new skin disease that resulted, the shingles, you see. And, but we're not paying attention to these things. All these diseases that's being placed upon us, plagued with these things. And so the Creator says, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. The Creator take responsibility for the things that happened in Egypt. He hit them with boils. Now we see our people running around with boils all over them. He hit them with the hemorrhoids, all these things. And now we bother with these type of things because we're following the ungodly. If we want these things lifted up off of us, we have to look to the Creator for our healing. For I am Yahweh that healeth thee. Now, so you see, the things we are witnessing have a source and a reason. We go back to Proverbs 26 and the 2nd chapter. In the book of Proverbs, at the 26th chapter, it says, In verse 2, as the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless should not come. The Creator is not unjust. He's not a child abuser like some of us. We get high on our alcohol, our drugs, and we get angry. That stuff get to move in our spirit, and then we want to lash out at our children because we get into it with our old lady or we get into it with our old man, you know. And now we're angry, so we want to take it out on the children for no reason. Y'all is not like that. Y'all not going to punish you just to get off on it. The Creator, the curse cause less, meaning no cause, no reason. When the swallow leave the nest, he leave to receive food. There's a reason he leave the nest. He can't sit there on the nest, he'll starve to death. And so the Creator is letting us know that what's going on is a reason that is happening. And that reason is our wickedness. And so let the world continue to disbelieve and lift itself up in pride. Let the world continue on. But as for us that believe in Yahweh, let us hear the voice of Yahweh. We go to Isaiah 42. Listen to what it says in verse 1 through 4. It says, behold, my servant whom I uphold, mine elect. See, elect means the one he chose, in whom my soul delighted, that makes him happy. I have put my spirit upon him. He should bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. See? He shall not cry, nor lift up nor cause his voice to be heard in the streets. No, we're not out there protesting like we see some of our Hebrew Israelite brothers. You know, we don't have to get out there and rat and rave and act a fool with these Europeans. Quit embarrassing yourself, using all that profanity. Like, you know, some of you brothers are smart because you got a better, you know, vocabulary than I do. You know, I'm working on mine. But I listen to some of you talk, you know, but then next thing you know, you go to using all that profanity and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, wow, bruh, are you sure you're a representative of the Most High? And you making all these threats and this and that, like you a racist yourself. This is the thing, you know, that we have to look at. We don't have no business out there. What's going on in the world is because of wickedness. Your people getting shot, killed, maimed, whatever, because of their wickedness. And we need to realize that. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the spoken flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He should not fail nor be discouraged, till he have set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law. And that is the thing that we as Israelites, we have to be encouraged. That is the thing that we must do. We're not out there to fight. We're not out there for that. We're not ready to fight. We're not ready to take up arms and go to war with our adversaries. When we went to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, we didn't fight, we observed. Yah did the fighting. Look what Yah is doing with this pandemic. He's doing the fighting. What he wants us to do is what we're doing now. Promote him, his knowledge, promote him in this earth, and give everybody a chance to change. But if you're out there cursing and fussing and acting a fool with people, nobody want to listen to you. Nobody want to listen to you. You gather the wrong kind to yourself. Now, when we look at Isaiah 54, and we look here at 15 through 17, it says, behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. So we, Israel, these words are to encourage you to continue to promote Yah's truth in this earth, to let the world know what's going on, to open the eyes of the blind so that people can have a true opportunity at change and a true opportunity at life. Don't worry about the threats that's going on, the antagonist spirits that's rising up in this earth. Don't worry about these things. The ignorant is going to kill the ignorant. It's those that have the truth of the Most High that we need to be concerned with, and that's you and I. Look what it says. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. So Yah created this man that made all the guns, the bombs, and this and that. And he'll use him how he want to use him. You see, they killing themselves. You just look back in time and history. Look at all these mass shootings. Look who they killing. So stop worrying. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh, and their righteousness is of me, said Yah. And so I want to leave you with this last chapter, Psalms 91, to encourage you that are striving to live right, to continue on. I know this pandemic is a scary thing. I know the violence in your community, everything going on. These are scary, perilous times. But listen what it says. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That's the first thing. When you up under the shadow, that means you're in the presence of. You within the perimeter. See, I will say of Yahweh, He is my refuge and my fortress, my ruler, in Him will I trust. Surely He should deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. You see, He will deliver you from the pestilence. He shall recover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and thy buckler. So brothers and sisters, you better grab a hold of that truth and hold on to it. Don't let nobody deceive you. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by the day. So you're not worried when you lay down about what's going on outside your house. Every little noise you're jumping up. Israelites that serve Yah don't have that kind of experience. My keys be in my car. Most of the time I'm at home, and I'm at home in the bed asleep. You see. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, because you can't see this disease. It's not something that you can see, but you know it's there. But y'all know where it is. Y'all know who have it and who don't. And so He telling you, when you trust Him and you cleave to His truth, you don't have to worry about the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noon. And He give you clear understanding of what's going on. Death is rampant all around you. Listen to what He says. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes should thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Once again, brothers and sisters, I hope that Yah have enlightened you, have given you something of understanding that it will create an opportunity for you, that where you might change, you might sit down and consider all the things that you heard and realize that your hope is not in the medical facilities, your hope is not in the principalities of this world, nor the scientists of this world, but that your hope is in the Most High, and that you will turn to Him and apologize to Him and ask Him to help you in your change, to reform your life, that you might be saved. Until then, brothers and sisters, stay blessed. Continue to walk on the path of truth. Shalom, shalom.